Let's go to. Oh, this is going to set it off.
Okay.
This is going to set it off.
You better. can you under-deliver? Under-promise and over-deliver here?
I think this is going to set it off.
All right, let's go.
Michael, Walnut Creek.
Michael in Walnut Creek. What's up, man? How's the creek?
First time caller, Michael.
Long time listener. You guys do a great job in the morning. I listen to you every day.
Thank you.
First time, long time.
Yeah, and the reason why I was calling was just from listening to everybody, and everybody's frustrated. I'm frustrated. Yesterday was the first time I turned the TV off in about 20 years watching the Warriors because I just couldn't handle it. But reality is set in, and there's only one asset that we have where we will get people back. And I hate to say this, but he's done a lot for us. He's brought people in the seats. He's made Lacob rich. So I think it's time for the owner to come out and really state to the fans what direction we're going to be going. He owes it to them. But as last week, I think one of the guys were saying, Lacob needs to make a decision. Does he want to win now, or is he going to want to put people in the seats? In order to keep the franchise going, he wants to put people in the seats. He's going to have to keep Curry. If he wants to win now and he wants to build the team, he's going to have to trade Curry. I hate to do that, but look, all great players have moved on. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and I think it's reached the time. We owe it to Steph to give him another ring. He needs to go to another team and get a ring there. And I think deep down, if they go to Curry and they say, look, you care about the franchise, which I know you do, we're at the point we have nobody to trade. And I keep hearing, we're going to get this guy and get that guy. Nobody wants to come to the Warriors. And I'm sure they've reached out for other players and said, hey, we'll give you this player for this player. But at the end of the day, Curry is the number one asset. And I can assure you, people have called the Warriors and said, hey, what's it going to take to get Curry over here? The last time I checked, the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers came from where? And let me tell you, he could use a guy like Curry to beat Boston and all in Oklahoma City, because I'm sure that's what it takes. Unfortunately, you'd be surprised what kind of assets we will get back. And that female caller a few minutes ago, she said it. She doesn't want to get rid of him either, but he's not the same player anymore. And I think we owe it to him, because I know he wants another ring, but he knows deep down he's not going to get it here. And when I listened to Steve Kerr last week talk about Draymond and Steph, and they got together, that's not a business decision. That's just more of, let's ride it out. I don't think the fans want that, meaning if they want to win now, that's not even a conversation that has merit to it. And that's just my feeling. But keep up the good work. I know it's frustrating on your part. And I love Shasky. Man, the guy is passionate. And that's what keeps listening to this radio.
Thank you.
Monte, you got nice shoes when you're on the NBC doing the pregame show.
That's it? Just nice shoes?
Cool shoes, man.
Just nice shoes? Really I don't get anything else?
Got some nice leather ones, man. You do a good job, though, man, and I'm proud of you because, you really make it happen, man. So keep up the good work. You guys are great. But remember, pay Purdy.
Hey, B, it's interesting because I've thought about this long and hard. It's the unthinkable. But I'm a big believer in I think about all the options, whether they're the most impossible ones to conceive or not. In this hypothetical, which no one wants to even allow into their brain, but in this hypothetical where you trade Curry, the problem with trading Curry to one of these quote-unquote contenders is that those picks you're getting back are in the 20s.
Yeah.
If not into the 30s, right? And that's not what you need. You need lottery picks, right? So it sounds like I get what people say. You get a huge haul. All right, I get. Even if I said to you, hey, you get the next, let's just use the Boston Celtics. You get Boston's next 10 first-round picks for Steph Curry. Well, okay, where's Boston picking in the next 10 years? Probably 24 through 30?
Yeah, not going to be high picks.
Right? So what does that really do for you?
Not much.
We've been stuck in that zone for the last decade, and it's hard to draft there. Kevon Looney and Jordan Poole are the two best players you picked in that era from that particular draft range.
Draymond Green was a second-round pick for crying out loud.
Yeah, right. Like,
right, you know what I'm saying?
Like, and I know like
TJD's a second round pick.
The Paul George thing when they traded him to the Clippers, both those guys got hurt, right? Yep. And then they used their own picks because of how stinky they were on top of the Clipper picks, on top of trading all these other pieces and stuff. I believe they traded CP3 and Russ, and they did all this stuff. Like, you got to accumulate lots of picks. It can't just be in one of those, and you have to completely bottom out. I think if you keep Curry, you could still bottom out and get your own picks in the top 3.
I think you're fine.
Hypothetically.
I haven't got here to trading Stephen Curry. I know Stephen Curry doesn't want to be traded. He wants to ride this thing out, but he also mentioned before the season, how relevant are we? How relevant are we?
What if he comes to if Steph Curry comes to the podium one day and he's like, look, I love Warrior fans. You guys know I love it. I've only got a couple more years left. My kids want to see me play in the finals one more time. They're all getting a little older, and I've only got a couple. I'll always be a Warrior. I'll come back around. You guys know that. I might even finish my career here.
If he did it, I wouldn't mind. I mean, that's what happens. We've seen this in this league multiple times. We're stars who get older, and they want to move around. They want another shot in the ring. They move around. They get traded. Yeah, it's happened in the league.
But what's made Curry so exclusive to those other guys is that he doesn't do the scorched earth policy where let me take all the resources of the organization for the future, and then we'll do everything we can to win now. And then the minute there's no more assets and we can't win anymore, I'm out. Like, that's what's made him unique. He's Dirk. He's Kobe. Where he stayed at Duncan. He stayed with one team. Which makes it harder.
Duncan. Yeah, I haven't entertained trading Stephen Curry. I think you go other avenues around that.
Of course.
But that's a conversation, because here's the thing and I love the call from Michael Waldo Creek. That was a hell of a call for his first time.
It really
hell of
was.
A call. Wow, that was a great call.
Did you agree with him? Just pay Purdy no matter whatever he wants?
Yeah, I'm with him
just
on
$500 million.
Yeah, give Purdy whatever he wants. I mean, you watched Jared Goff over the weekend?
That's the cautionary tale. You
watch some of these quarterbacks in these playoffs?
They're not very good.
I feel good with Brock Purdy. I feel even better with Brock Purdy. That's where I'm at today with the 49ers. Brock Purdy, yeah, that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback, man.
$60 million. Let's do it.
But think about it. Let's do it.
You almost had
my money. Ain't my money. Listen.
Might be suggestible.
And it's going to be a team-friendly deal, so everybody's going to freak out.
You don't even know that.
Details. Wait till the details come out. You guys are all going to be like, wow, what a deal.
$72 million cap hit in 2026. We're going to bring that up.
That's Jared Goff. I like Brock Purdy a lot more than I ever liked Jared Goff. Shout out Moraine County.
He was Goffle over the weekend.
He was awesome during the regular season.
That's a 5.
Awesome.
I mean, Lamar had turnovers, wasn't as bad as Goff. Lamar had a spectacular season and had a bad end of the year. You know?
So, as I was going to say, the call Mike made about trading Stephen Curry, if you really want to do that, well, now you got to look at the ownership group and say, are you willing to lose money now? Because Steph Curry is still a draw. He's still a big-time draw.
Can I ask you, are they drawing currently? Like, in terms of the way it was maybe a couple years ago to where it is now, because you're there every night.
They're selling out now, but there's fans, the energy in the building has lacked. When you have a mediocre team, the energy in the building, it's not great. And so if you don't have Curry, who's a big draw, who kids love, there's 30 jerseys everywhere. If you don't have Curry, what happens to your ticket prices? They get slashed in half. What happens to your sellout streak? Probably ends. What happens to people watching on the regional networks? The ratings dip.
Of course.
What happens to national televised games on TNT,
those
ESPN,
are few and far between.
Opening night games, MLK Day, Christmas Day games?
I mean, just remember what the Warriors were like before Steph became Steph.
They had not played a Sunday NBC game, I felt like, when NBC had to. I don't ever remember the Warriors.
They played an NBA on NBC game when they were in the playoffs against the Phoenix Suns.
That was 1994.
Exactly.
What?
So when you trade Steph, it's not just trading a basketball player on the floor. Your business may suffer.
You're trading your relevancy away.
You're trading a lot away. I mean, oh my gosh.
Well, that's the unthinkable. To me, I only cross that bridge if he comes to me and says, I have to go.
Right. That's it.
And at that point, to me, because of the relationship and because of what he means to the organization and all that stuff, like, you do what you have to do. But that's the unthinkable. See, to me, I would just plead to him. I'd literally like, okay, Steph, look, we are just so screwed here. But like, I know these next year or two, you're gonna go out like Kobe if we don't, find a way to draft some guys. Like, it's the only thing I can think of. Like, we've got to do this the right way. You know this. This is how you came up on the come up. Like, you were drafted and developed.
You have to ask yourself, too, if you're Steph Curry and this organization. You keep Steph, right? You start trading off parts. Can you start to develop a great tandem? Can you become a great duo playing alongside Jonathan Kuminga? Because this is the big elephant in the room. Jonathan Kuminga. Do you believe he could be that co-star along Stephen Curry and make that leap from a prospect who has potential to be a star to becoming an actual star? Like, you have to ask yourself, where's Kuminga going to be at next season? Is he going to be able to take that leap where he's a perennial 20-point per game scorer and he's grabbing 6 or 7 rebounds and he's locking down on defense?
I currently think he's the second or third best Warrior on any given night.
Right.
At minimum.
And
that's my belief.
And then will that be good enough to be in the top 6 in the Western Conference next season?
No, but I also think that given more opportunities, given more runway, I think he could easily be your second best player almost right away.
Also, what people don't think about is they say the culture. And I still think the culture is solid, but it's not as golden as it once was. Part of that had to do with the incident between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. But also, other stars see that Steph Curry's 36 years old. And they know, okay, if I go to Golden State and the pressure on me to deliver opposite of Golden State, if everything goes down and I lose, well, I'm going to be the scapegoat. Mm-hmm. Look at Kevin Durant, won 2 Finals MVPs, and people were ready to run out of town. I still haven't forgiven some Warrior fans for that.
Kevin Love, Chris Bosh, these were guys that took on roles with superstars,
right,
and only got grief.
Only got grief. Only got scapegoated. Yeah. Blamed for everything.
Kyrie, too, to a lesser degree.
Kyrie did, absolutely.
To a lesser degree.
And Kyrie saw the writing on the wall. He bailed from Cleveland. I understood what he was doing. It's like, I'm not going to get left here in Cleveland when this guy's already plotting to move to L.A., so in terms of LeBron James. So those superstars, do they really want to play with Stephen Curry right now at this stage? I think you'd be surprised. I think LeBron and KD, sure, why not? But they're older. I'm talking about superstars in their primes.
But also the young guys, like, I'm just using some examples. Like, most of them, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he wants to be the main attraction himself.
Well, like, he'll build that thing,
We've talked about ego, and you're like, you think that the Warriors are the only locker room with ego? No. Every young and up-and-coming player wants the stage to themselves.
I saw Montrezl Harrell put on 15 gold chains one night in the Clipper locker room. And got mad. It got mad when somebody suggested that somebody else had the chain. He said, hey, nobody got this chain. And like the swagger, Montrezl Harrell had it. Like, so this
Montrezl Harrell. He did destroy the Warriors one playoff.
I'm not going to lie. That's why it kind of drives me crazy when I hear things like, well, Clay had a bad attitude. Jordan Poole had a bad attitude. Your egos are too much. This is pro sports.
Did you see the...
this is pro sports. Where have you been all your life?
Did you see the Jason Williams video that's circulating across the internet?
No.
Jason Williams, White Chocolate, was doing all these sit-down interviews. It's phenomenal. And he goes, I went to do a workout for the Orlando Magic. And it's Chuck Daly is the guy doing the workout. Right. Yeah, the famous USA coach, Pistons champion, Chuck Daly. And he's doing a one-on-one with Bryce Drew from Valparaiso. Remember the Bryce Drew hit the shot
in the tournament. And then
don't miss. Slid on the ground.
Yeah, he did.
And Jason Williams says that Chuck Daly goes to me and goes, hey, look, I got a tee time in an hour and a half. I need this to be over. And Jason, because it's a workout to like get drafted. And Jason Williams goes, it's all good. I only need 20 minutes. And cooked Bryce Drew in 20 minutes and was like, yeah, I'm going to destroy him. And he goes, you tell Bryce Drew I said that because he knows I cooked him. Yep. This is White Chocolate.
Yeah.
Who's like, I mean, he's a really good player, but how many players do I have to name from the 90s and the 2000s before I can bring him up?
Right. So I don't want to hear about bad attitudes and egos. This is what happens in pro sports. They all have egos. Look at the Padres clubhouse with Tatis and Machado. We see it left and right. Buster Posey, even though he's quiet, has an ego.
They all do.
He wants to kick your ass. He's confident. So
Camilo Duvall didn't want to come into games where he wasn't involved in a save.
So I don't want to hear about bad attitudes anymore. Please. These guys all have egos. They want to be the guy. They want to be the guy. You should be. Why wouldn't you want to be the best? Why wouldn't you want to feel yourself and say, you know what, I'm the best at what I do? Let's go to Jay in Oakland. Jay, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up?
You know what? A couple weeks ago, maybe it was even last week, when Steph and them came out and said that they're not going to be swinging for the fence in Morgan in the future, I was kind of upset about that because I thought it was more like loser talk. But the more that I think about it, man, it makes complete sense because this team is irrelevant. They're not really going anywhere. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't know too many people who's rushing home after work to turn on a Warriors game. It's just not an entertaining brand of basketball right now, to be honest with you. So I think the main solution is sometimes you got to, like, tear it down to build it back up. Like, know what I mean? And Bonte, I hear you, man, about the whole wait until the summer to see how things play out and see what players are available. The only problem with that is we know what type of players are going to be available in the summer. It's going to be old role players or role players that are on bad teams. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, but also real quick, I'm going to let you finish, Jay. It's not so much that I want to wait until summer, because if they can make a move before the deadline, fine, make a move. Is it going to make it better? But my thought process is there may be more options available and more teams to trade with, because contracts, obviously you lose a year off these contracts, and who knows who's going to be disgruntled in the summer on said team. So there's always going to be a star that says, I want out somewhere. Always. Now, the new CBA makes it complicated. Oh, Jay in Oakland hung up. But I do think that there will be just more options on the table. If they make a trade before February 6th, fine. But I'm not going to go crazy if they don't make a trade February 6th.
Let me throw this one at you. Like, I think this is a good medium. Like, it's not tanking and it's not trading for some old guy. What if you just swung big and you threw a couple picks at Zion Williamson?
Sure. It's something different. Sure. At this point, sure.
If I told you Steph and Zion for the end of this year, I don't know if Kuminga's in that deal. This is hypothetical. I think that galvanizes the fan base enough for the time being. I don't know what that does to winning. I really don't. But I do think that there's some sex appeal to that just for the average fan. They know Zion. There's a name recognition to it. I don't know if it impacts winning like we all want, but there's some intrigue there. Does that do anything for you?
Well, it does. It does at this point. A few weeks ago, it didn't, because I didn't see him play, and he was out. He couldn't get in shape. But CT's been back in 4 games. He's played 28, 28, 24, 23 minutes. They've kept his minutes down. Why? I don't know. But in those minutes, first game back against Minnesota, and he's talking and jawing with Anthony Edwards. 22, 6, and 4, 9 to 15 in 28 minutes.
Boy, they could use that.
Against Boston. God. They lost by 1 at Boston. Played Boston very tough. 28 minutes, 16 to 7 and 3, 5 steals. Not bad, right? 24 minutes at Chicago, 21, 9 and 7. Wow. And then you see Utah. Utah has nobody playing. Utah sucks. But 24 and 14 and 6 and 3 blocks.
I'd take him in a heartbeat.
So on this team, when you need athleticism and somebody to jump above the rim, it's different. You're going to have to tweak your style. But I'm a lot more open-minded to it than I was 2 weeks ago.
It's a huge risk, to your point, Bonte. But at this point, if it hits, it literally checks every single box that you've had the last couple of years that you don't have. Young superstar recognition,
power at the rim.
Young, he's got power. He could be a defensive freak. He could do. He is a unicorn when healthy that you're not going to get anywhere else. Like Brandon Ingram's not going to come on.
And he signed, and this is a guy you sign long term. They signed him. He's in the midst of a 5-year, 100. What was it? 100 and forget the deal. But anyway, he's making 36.7 this year. 39.4 next year, 42 the year after, 44 the year after that.
That's not that bad.
And in today's NBA, it's not that bad.
Cheaper than Emmanuel Quickley, and I'll take Zion over Quickley.
And listen, as you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM, and HG1 San Francisco, and IC Sports Station, always live on the free out of Seattle. What Stan Van Gundy did with Zion a couple years ago is he allowed him to play the point forward. And he was dropping damn near triple-double numbers.
Yeah, coming down the court.
Now, a change of scenery for him, it's obvious he doesn't want to be in New Orleans. He always wanted to be in New York. Would he be able to survive on the West Coast? Maybe he comes here, plays alongside Stephen Curry, sells some jerseys. He's playing next to Kuminga. It won't hurt. Now, would New Orleans do that? I would love to talk to somebody from down in New Orleans. Maybe we do that later in the week. What's their market? What are they doing? Because right now it feels like they're going to trade Brandon Ingram first and foremost. I kind of don't want Brandon Ingram because he's a free agent after the season and he can't stay healthy.
But if it cost me, like if I told you right now, like Draymond, Wiggins, some other combinations, whatever, and I had to take on Ingram, like, okay, let's do it. Let's just see. Let's just test drive it. Let's see where it goes. Like, it can't be worse than what we're doing now. Because to me, that would be the happy medium of, hey, take a swing.
Would people be in on Zion? 888-957-9570. Here's what Slater said last week.
You would rather have Zion than Jimmy Butler?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Would you rather have Zion than Paul George?
I would, yes,
Okay.
because of the age.
Okay,
because of the age.
Me too. And I understand the risk. Like
Right.
you're taking a giant risk.
He's 24 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
He's 24.
Okay, what about Larry Marketing? Straight up, just Zion.
I'm taking Zion.
Okay.
I've seen more from Zion than I've ever seen from Larry Marketing.
Like, this is something I would
But
be
I don't
on.
know if he's available. So here's what Slater had to say about it because he's tapped in.
Wait, would the Pelicans even trade him? Brandon Ingram is an expiring deal. Like he's gonna very likely be very available, and but that comes with like, do you want to pay him long term? You got to decide on that. As far as Zion goes, like, do the Pelicans really want to trade him at his lowest value and just give him up for some salary filler and a pick or two? Like, I'm not sure that he's like that's even going to happen. So I think sometimes people throw out names. It's like there's other teams with other motives on the other side of these deals. I mean, you're dealing with it with Chicago, where it's like, sure, the urgency of the moment might be there for the Warriors to try to make a trade on, mid-January, but Chicago, like we all know, they're not only are they going to probably wait up until February 5th, 6th to decide on a direction this season. We've seen the last few years they haven't made a deadline deal in like 3 seasons. They're like the longest standing, like stay pat team.
They are. So that's great perspective by Anthony Slater. 510 says Zion held to the no, paying season tickets to hope he stays on the court. A hard pass.
How's that different from Draymond?
Great question. 888-957-9570 is the number. 888-957-9570 is the number. What do you want to see the Warriors do? Jan in Mountain View gets you on the other side. We'll play the Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith sound. Who do you agree with, Barkley or Kenny Smith? It sounds like a lot of our callers this morning agree with Kenny Smith to go ahead and start the rebuild right now.